Good morning, everyone. I thought that I would just make a small little video to tell you more about the Aztec tile blanket. It was a knit along. It's a free pattern on the Deramoris website. You just go to the website and then you can download the pattern for free. I think they also have kits, but for us in South Africa, to get it here in South Africa is impossible. And I thought I would just use stash that I have, because it seems that a lot of us are on a stash busting 2020 year. The pattern is written by Lynn from the Wool Nest. But as I say, you have to download the pattern on the Deramoris website. What I can tell you about the pattern is it starts here in the middle with the 4 mitered squares. You knit the 4 mitered squares. There's 2, 3, and 4. And then you sew them together. But I think it will be easier and possible to just join the second one and knit it, and then join the third one and join the fourth one. But if you don't mind sewing them together, that's also fine. I used one-of-a-kind yarns. She calls it a sport weight yarn, but I think it's more of a double knit. It's a 3-ply double knit. And then you end the first part here, and then the second part is a basket weave stitch up to here. That's the second part. And then the fourth part is the corners. You pick up stitches all along here, and then you decrease up to this corner, and it's in you do mosaic knitting, so you need 2 colors that is that has some contrast to them, otherwise you will lose the effect of the mosaic knitting. I think I could have used something with more contrast, but I think I like the effect. And then I think the fourth part is this whole piece here. So, and that's quite a lot of knitting. So you pick up stitches all along the one side, and then you do some mosaic knitting again, where you will definitely need 2 colors that are quite contrasting. So that's the only yarn that is not from the one-of-a-kind yarns stash group that I have, is the very light color. That is one from Indibel Fibers I had in my stash, and I just needed something with quite enough contrast, and that is all I had, is this one skein. So I had to be very careful that I had enough yarn to do this part. I used all of the 100 gram skein, and she asks you to cast off after you've done that last row of light color. I didn't do that because if I cast it off, I would not have enough yarn, and I don't think it's really necessary, because she says the casting off is to give your blanket some structure, but I think this mosaic border, I think that gives your blanket quite enough structure. And then you do this section again, and okay, so you go around like in a log cabin effect with the mosaic edge. So it started with this one here, and then you pick up stitches, you do that, and the mosaic border again up to there, and then you pick up stitches again, and you do that side, and then you do the fourth side. Then you come back again to the first side, and then you do this last part. I played around with more stripes, and I wanted to repeat the variegated yarns I used for this part and that part. So I did 2 edges with this and the green, and 2 edges with that and the green, just to repeat them again. So I did, there's the one color variegated with the green, and there's the other variegated color with the green. And yes, so I think yes, after this part she wants you to cast off again and then pick up stitches again for that last row, but I was way too lazy for that, so I just kept them on the cables again, and then just came back and did this last row of garter row, and then you cast off. And I just did a crochet cast off. I think you can Google it. It's quite a neat cast off, as you can see. I think I like that a lot, and I will definitely use it again. It's quite stretchy. It's got enough stretch, so it's not tight, and it's very neat. So you just put your hook through a stitch on your needle, and you pull a loop, pull the yarn through, and then you put your hook through the next stitch, and you pull the yarn through both stitches, and then you put your hook through the next stitch on the needle, and you pull the yarn through the 2 stitches. So it's much faster because there's almost 100 stitches around the whole blanket that you have to cast off at the end, and I think that went much faster, and I will definitely do it again. I really enjoyed knitting this blanket. Mine is a little bit smaller than the patterns, but mine is about 1 meter by 1 meter, so it's a generous size lap blanket, I think. Or as a friend of mine says, you can even put it on a table as a centerpiece. And I washed it like I do with all my wool blankets, or any blanket I knit or crochet. I washed it in the washing machine on my wool setting at 15 degrees. And yes, it's soft and very woolly and a very nice blanket. I'm very happy with the outcome, but I'm also very happy that it is done. So these are corners. The corners came out quite neat. But this, I think this mosaic border part was my favorite part. I love knitting mosaic. And you do these pattern instructions for up to here, and then you just do a mirror up to here. So it's not difficult to do. It's really very easy to do, and I just love the effect. I always feel that making a video of a blanket or showing it in a video is much clearer than it comes in. That is, the effect in photographs are not the same. This is also a very nice mosaic effect. So that is my Aztec towel blanket, and I'm very, very happy with it. while I'm here, I'm in the room that used to be my son's room, but he's married and long gone out of the house. I want to show you, this is a blanket my grandma crocheted. She always crocheted. She was never without her crocheting. And this was my mother's. This was with my mother in the Vrouwke, where she lived for 4 years. And she passed away last year, beginning of October, just the evening when I boarded for the last leg of my flight back to South Africa after I was in Norway. I got the news, so I didn't see her again when I came back. But when I packed up her room in the Vrouwke, this blanket was still with her, and her mother, that was her mother, crocheted this for her. And so I think this blanket must be, if I have to guess, about 40 or 50 years old. It's of course all acrylic, but I just want to show you in what a good condition it still is. And it was always on my mother's bed for quite a long time. She used it. And I just want to show you the back. There's no ends peeping out anywhere after lots of washes. I just washed it again when I brought it home, and I want to I'm not sure if I should just maybe keep it here and as a reminder of my mum and my grandmother on the bed. I might do that, but I don't want the dog to lie on it. He can be quite naughty and pick up all the nice clean blankets and go and lie there where there's with his not always clean paws and things. So I just want to prevent that from happening with this blanket. As you can see, this is the back, and there's no ends peeping out anywhere. And my aunt, my grandma used to live with my aunt for about 20 years, and she can't tell me what my grandma did with her ends. I don't see, I'm not sure, I don't think she sewed them in with needle and thread. I don't see that either, but it might be possible. But it's a lot of ends to do that with, because every round, as you can see, is a different color. So to do that with needle and thread will be an impossible task. But it's a plain granny, and with the granny, I think yeah, she might have she didn't do a join as you go, and she's got a very nice, she added a very beautiful border. Let me just turn it around because it's now all upside down. Here's the border of the blanket. I still love this border, and I think one day I want to try and copy it. I think it won't be too difficult. I think she started with it looks like a 3 cluster, and then there's a 2 cluster. From there on she did two double crochet clusters, and solid that grows and then just a little picot edging. So this is the blanket, because I don't have a blanket from my grandma. I don't know, she had a lot of grandchildren, and I think I was a little bit down on the list, so I think she passed away before I could get one. But that is the blanket that was crocheted by my grandmother that is now with me. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and I hope you will have a nice weekend full of knitting and crochet. Goodbye.